Okay, we are starting our study on history of computers. These will be answers to many of the questions that you had on the pretest. We're going to go through the first section, and then we're going to work in breakout groups. Breakout groups will probably happen on your Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Friday class, depending on which class period you're in. So right now, history of computers. Well, the first computer was actually the abacus. Abacus is similar to this over here. There are different types. Each country has their own type of abacus. The Chinese abacus is not the same as the Japanese abacus. And these were built or created between 1200 and 2000 BC, meaning it was probably about 4,000 years ago. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is a Jacquard loom, which was built in 1800, and it used key punch cards or punch cards to design rugs and blankets and curtains and different things like that. Then in 1833 to 1854, Babbage and Ada Lovelace created a calculating machine. So let's take a closer look at some of these. The abacus is a calculating machine. There we go. So when we look up the information about the abacus, you notice this picture is different than the picture we had on the other side. So here is some information, a place that you can find some very good details about the abacus. If you have a project for math, you might want to come and read this information in encyclopedia.com. Some countries still use the abacus today. Greece, China, Japan, Russia. Every different type of abacus works a little bit differently than another one from another different country. Now, the Jacquard loom, built in 1800, used cards to control the pattern. Now, punch cards were used until the 1970s. One of the projects that you might want to be doing, and we'll be studying a little bit, is pixel art. And pixel art is similar to the patterns created by the cards for the looms. So many rug manufacturers still use methods similar to this with their computers. Pixel art will be studied in one of our lessons in the next weeks. This is a picture of the original Jacquard loom. Here is a short video about the Jacquard loom. You will be able to watch this video in its fullness on your own time. Now, these are the types of punch cards, we call them key punch cards, that were still in use in the 1970s when I was studying computer science at the University of New Mexico. In 1833 to 1854, Babbage and a young lady by the name of Ada Lovelace Byron they worked on a calculating machine. She was a very bright young woman, and women were not taught, girls were not taught or educated the way girls are now. They did not go to school. They usually had tutors, and it was more important for them to learn how to embroider or to keep house than it was for them to learn educational topics such as math and science. But Ada Lovelace was a brilliant person, and she worked with Babbage after she had heard about his calculating machine. There is a video which you'll be able to access through this about the calculating machine, and we'll go into more detail later. So here are some pictures about his machine. It's amazing because each one of these things turns around and they have the numbers 0 to 9. And each one, this would be like ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, depending on how many rows of cogs he had in here. Now, Babbage calculating machines are very similar to calculators, except for they had billions pieces to them, and they were very huge. So you will learn more about these as you study. So Ada Lovelace was actually the daughter of Lord Byron, who was a very famous poet from England. She was one of the many women who were well ahead of their time in the computing world. Now, in the 20th century, computers were titles given to women who were employed in the government, the military, and NASA as the ones who calculated trajectories for missiles and rockets. One such incident is depicted in the movie and the book Hidden Figures. Now, our lesson that we'll be working on tomorrow, after we go through the videos in class today, our lesson will be you going through all the research in your breakout groups. So for Tuesday, we will start on the breakout groups. But let's go back and watch the other videos at this time.